Now let's test out these sentiment models on some more realistic data. We're going to be using a sample of book reviews for this and running the sentiment over different reviews. So we start by loading in our data using pd.readcsv, and then we're going to be reading in the dataset bookreviewsample.csv. So once we've read that in, we can do data.head to have a look at it. We can see we've got 3 columns. One is an index, one is our review text, and one is the rating score. Let's have a look at one of the reviews. So we'll do data, review text, and just take the first review. Clean and funny, a bit busy with all the different plots going on, but overall a good read. Bye now. First step is to just do a little bit of cleaning, so we'll create a new column, review text clean, and then use data.apply and run a lambda function to remove the punctuation and to lowercase this text. We're not going to remove any stop words or do any lemmatization or stemming because these words are going to be needed for the sentiment analysis to run. You can typically leave punctuation in if you want to, but for our use case, we're just going to straight up remove it. So once we've run that cleaning step, we can again run data.head just to check everything's come out okay. So we can see that our new column, review text clean, has lowercase and no punctuation, which is going to be perfect for our sentiment analysis. So let's jump straight in and start using the Vader sentiment, which is one of our rule-based methods of sentiment analysis. We start by initializing the sentiment analyzer. We're then going to create a new column for our sentiment score. So we're going to create a new column in data called Vader sentiment score. We then take our review text clean column and apply our lambda function over this. So for each of the reviews, so each of the rows, we're going to run Vader sentiment and take the polarity scores. This will then feed back into the column Vader sentiment score and give us a nice clean column of all the scores for each review in our dataset. We can then run data.head to have a look at what these scores look like. So we can see for each of the rows, we've got a sentiment score from the Vader sentiment. We now want to take these scores and classify them into positive, negative, and neutral. So we'll create our bins. So we're going to have one bin from -1 to -0.1, another one from -0.1 to positive 0.1, and from 0.1 to 1. And then we're going to name these positive, neutral, and negative. So we're going to create a new column in our dataset called Vader sentiment label, and then we're going to use pdcut to create different groups based on the sentiment score. So it'll go through the different bins, identify which bucket that score belongs in, and then give it the label that we've identified in the names. With this, we can then create a really nice and simple bar chart of the frequencies of different sentiment in our dataset. So we run data Vader sentiment label dot value counts dot plot dot bar. And then we have a nice frequency table of the counts of different sentiments that the Vader sentiment intensity analyzer has given us. Let's now move on to our pre-trained transformers. So we initialize the transformer pipeline by using the pipeline function, and then we're just going to use the basic sentiment analysis for now, but feel free to explore with the different models available for this pipeline. We then create an empty list for our transformer labels and use a for loop to get the labels for each of the rows in our datasets. So for review in data review text clean, we're going to create the sentiment list, which is the transformer pipeline for our review. And from this, we take the sentiment label. So it will go through each review, run the pipeline, and then from the output of that, it will pull the appropriate label, which would be positive or negative. It will then append this label onto our transformer labels. The next step is to create a new column in our dataset called Transformer Sentiment Labels, and we can put our transformer labels into this column. Again, we can just create a really simple bar chart to visualize the number of positive and negatives that have been assigned to our dataset. So we can see we've got slightly more positives than negatives. We don't have any neutrals because of the type of model that we've used. So definitely go and check out the Hugging Face Transformers website to have a look through the different models and explore with some of those.